All right, guys, welcome to this video. What you're about to hear is close to an hour's phone call of me talking to WB Guy, who has to obviously remain anonymous, about the set. I get into if there's going to be more coming in terms of the Steelbook collection, in terms of the digital codes, in terms of what does Part 2 Steelbook look like, because we didn't see that on the HMV website. We're going to talk about that. We cover everything on the special features, what those new special features are, the body of work that they are, what they talk about, and listen to this whole thing. Every time I think that I was like running out of questions to ask, something gets brought up and it's like, oh, what about that stuff from Freddy's Dead where she looks at the camera and says now and puts the glass. Listen to this whole thing. It'll be worth your while. And this is something I'm going to add. He told me I could say just this little piece. Blade 2 and 3. Okay, enjoy the show. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Planet CHH. Right now with me on the line is who we are calling the WB Guy. WB Guy, how are you today?
What's going on, man? How you doing? Doing great.
Oh, man, I'm doing good. It is a lovely Monday night. I got a lot done today, so I feel productive, and I'm excited about this. We had a big show the other night, and wouldn't you know it, the only thing that was the outcome of that, besides a lot of people being excited, was just a ton of more questions. So,
Right? Who'd have
surprise,
thought?
surprise. What we're going to do tonight is, you told me there are some more things we need to try to get cleared up. There's still a lot of speculation on things here and there. And, um, I'm going to go through what we can with you to answer a bunch of stuff. Like I said, I did get a bunch of questions from the audience, and you said that there's a lot of clarification that you can help us with. So, if there's anything you think we should start with, we can go from there, and that can bounce questions off of that. If there's anything like the biggest thing you want to start with, we can go there. If not, man, I can just start rattling off the questions that the audience has in regards to the set, if they're going to do more, uh, the special features. I mean, that's a lot of the big stuff right now that people are wondering about.
Well, there's one thing I could start off with. The fact that press release was very early in our spec stage. We didn't have a lot of things together that we do at the final stage. Like how the Fat Boys music video for part 4 and the other video for part 5 were not listed in the press release, but Dream Warriors video was. I can assure everyone that the Fat Boys video is in there as well as the part 5 one, because let's just say like the Zavi version, it wouldn't have been able to include those Blu-ray discs if we didn't have still have the rights to those videos, right? Also, I want to drop a big piece of knowledge that finally, after all this time, we finally have the video for the Google Dolls for part 6, so that's amazing.
That
Finally have it.
that is absolutely amazing. What's funny is I remember years ago that music video, when I would try to play it on YouTube, it would block it in America. So there must have been something going on with that video itself. I remember I just couldn't watch
Right.
it for a long time.
It was a lot to do with the record label, because even though it's our character and featured in there, it's still their video, and there was a lot of red tape for a long time with it. So we finally got it cleared up. I'm happy for that.
Yeah, it was like Metal Blade Records or something for that early Goo Goo Doll stuff, which is so funny because Metal Blade was supposed to be like a heavy label, but because I have the part 6 vinyl, I had to get it from like the UK, and it's a great soundtrack. I tell people the part 6 soundtrack is phenomenal with that early
Oh,
Goo
it
Goo
is
Doll
Iggy
stuff.
Pop.
Iggy Pop, that early Goo Goo, they had like 3 tracks on there. Fate's Warning, that kind of prog metal stuff is fucking fantastic. So here's
Right.
one thing I'll ask right now, because I think when people think of part 4 soundtrack, there's a lot of stuff you can go
Hmm.
to. I know that the Fat Boys music video was a gigantic when Freddy was all up in that. I can already
Right.
hear some people wondering, what about um Will Smith and DJ Jazzy Jeff's "Welcome to My Nightmare"? But if memory serves, New Line, they kind of like separated themselves from that and claimed that it was never an actual Elm Street related song, right?
Right. It was never part of the whole of any kind of deal they did down their own. Now, don't get me wrong; it's a cool song. I love it. But if you can tell when you listen to it that the actual Nightmare theme is slightly tweaked so they don't get sued.
Okay. Yeah, because I know that was a popular thing that people were wondering. So, yeah, like you said, that press release that came out today, you're just to kind of reiterate, you were saying that was just like an early thing. How does those do you kind of know how and why those things get out there early as opposed to just waiting for like the actual full list of stuff to come out? Like what can you tell me about that? How those kind of things get out early if it's not all finalized yet? Is it by design to do that or what?
Basically on a per site basis. Like Zavi, that was early as like when we were going to release it originally. Like I told you last week, that was for last year's spec on the set where it was very basic. As you can see, it was a good thing we delayed it. It was a very good thing for many reasons. It's just they took what they already had in their files and just put it out, but it will be rectified within the next week and a half or so.
Okay, so yeah, so we're gonna and just off memory, I can't remember what music video would it have been for part 5. Is it the Bruce Dickinson? Is it the
I'm gonna be honest with you. It's not my favorite video, so I don't remember the artist, and I apologize for that. It's just not my favorite thing because I'm more of a metalhead. So like it's not in my memory bank. But it's the one where they got the backup dancers dressed in the striped shirts and they're kind of doing that weird dance. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's the one that's been on every release, like the DVD release, the Blu-ray release, everything.
Okay, you know what? I can't even remember if I've actually looked at it. If it's rap, I'm wondering if it was Chub Rock or something.
Uh, I'm not trying to knock on hip hop, but it's just not my favorite thing in the world. I'm a metalhead, you know.
Oh yeah, fair enough, fair enough. Okay, so that's cool. But yeah, like you said, the big thing, which is a huge surprise to me, is the I'm Awake Now video. That's gonna be
Right.
so fucking cool.
And you
So
know, I want to address something too, real quick, before you go on.
please.
I saw that some people were kind of apprehensive about the fact that this was supposed to be released last year because we saw the photos of Jack Shoulder and Rachel Tallahay at the studio early in 2025. One of the big reasons it was held over is so we did have uh, unapproved scans, but because they were able to come in because we pushed it back and they were able to approve them, they're so much better than what we would have put out last year.
Yeah, so that was something I was kind of wondering about. If it was going to come out last year, like if you could kind of level with me and give it to me straight, like is that what we would just call plain studio masters, where they're good restorations, but they're not like those almost boutique style where you could just tell it's got that TLC put into it and it's got the man hours behind it. Would have been just like a do you get what do you get what I'm trying to
Well,
ask
yeah,
here?
part one would have been. It's the only one they were willing to pour money into at the time to make it look and sound the best because part one obviously had the audio issues and the Blu-ray and everything. I know people are talking about a slight audio issue in the Dolby Atmos track for part one, and to be fair, that is there, but it's not as egregious as the audio desyncing completely like it did in the Blu-ray, right? Originally, Two through New Nightmare is supposed to just be using the original scans done for the Blu-ray, just put HDR and Dolby Vision to and call it a day.
And is that kind of like the case with a lot of, you know, big studio releases sometimes?
Uh, I mean, it's not unheard of to take an older master and just clean it up and put it on a newer format. I mean, you got to think about there was some Blu-rays maybe in 2009 that were still using DVD masters.
Right. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. So yeah, to kind of take us through the journey of this. So part 1 comes out, and if people didn't see that stream, you basically said that you and others kind of went to bat to try to say, please let us put this out and give these people the original poster. They love that art. Just give us a shot. So that's how you guys were able to do overseas the UK poster with that
Right.
kind of video store style VHS box, and then that art was used as a steelbook in America. So you're saying that UK style, the UK steelbook with the chunky box and the original, is that the highest seller out of all 3 of the 4K releases between that, the American steelbook, and the standard?
It was very much so. That's why they went overboard and printed way too many because they saw people. I mean, we saw it too, obviously going in the forums and on YouTube, like people like yourself, and that were getting every single version, or they were importing the UK one over the US by even buying the US standard or the US Steelbook, and so they decided to print an exorbitant amount because they saw a demand. But I mean, they just sat there. So this is why this set will be as limited as upon release. Now, what I can tell you is there's going to be another run around end of November, beginning of December for holiday season of about 200, 250. And then going from there will be smaller amounts printed just to see how demand is because they don't want to be stuck with these again.
Okay, so that's interesting. So for the people listening, kind of keep your eye on this sometime in the, holiday season then. And another thing, you and me talked about this, but I just want to reiterate to the audience this. I remember asking you, "Hey, what happens if people get a set and it just looks like King Kong stepped on it?" Not blaming Warner Brothers, not blaming the mail per se, but it happens. Are they
Or you mean
screwed
like
if
cut spines and all that?
well, yeah,
Like cut spines.
let's say
Yeah.
my steel box set comes in the mail and I open it up and it is just destroyed or damaged to where it's just like I can't be happy with this. Am I just SOL or
No, because we print, and as an industry standard, it's not just us, there are extras printed just in case of things like this that happen. Now, the extras that are printed will not have the certificate of authenticity in it because they're not counted in the number of sold. They're counted as purely replacements. So if you do get one that's damaged and you return it to Amazon, keep your certificate so you can put it in your new one.
keep the certificate? So that's like the COA or like the limited number sheet of paper that you're talking about where it's like
Right.
number 750. Okay. So keep that
Right.
and hopefully that'll be yeah. Um So there's some questions that a lot of people had. I have one off of memory right now that a lot of people were asking about is I'm assuming it's let me back up. On the Blu-ray set in 2011, I have no idea if you were even working there at this point when that set came out, but that set had 2 episodes of Freddy's Dead on it on the bonus disc. A lot of people
Right.
wondering what the hell is going on with that. I believe we did touch on that, but I'll be honest with you, we covered so much stuff that I don't remember what was said about Freddy's Dead. If you can, Freddy's Nightmares, excuse me, if you can kind of refresh us on where that's at, and if there's any chance we're going to
Um,
see any of it.
Freddy's Nightmares, the only way you're going to be able to obtain it is if you would get the zombie version with those Blu-rays, or you keep your Blu-ray set now. I mean, there's nothing we can do outside of those episodes only because of the red tape that surrounds the rest of them, like how with music they used, or I mean, it's as petty as sound effects that were used that were not cleared correctly.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? That's true. So the zombie set, if considering those are the Blu-rays from the the 2011 set, they did have 2 episodes. They had the debut, and then they had the one
Mhm.
with I think Lar Park Lincoln was in it or something. So yeah, that's a bummer. And I remember we talked about there's this Amazon Germany Blu-ray set that popped up, and then as soon as it popped up, it magically disappeared on Amazon. And
Yeah,
you were telling me maybe another day we could talk about that, but I'm sure you guys got wind of that.
I mean, the thing about it is, it's another case of look, as excited as we would be to get in everybody's hands, it is at the end of the day the company's intellectual property. And I know people don't like that. They don't understand because they want it in their hands, and I get it because it's amazing stuff. As a fan, I know where you're coming from. That it's just frustrating not to have it, but Warner Brothers is going to protect their IP, and they're going to take that down.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Okay, so let's kind of get into some other stuff. One of the things that is again a frequently asked question about this is um new commentaries. And again, we might have touched on this, but just to refresh everybody's memory, is there any new commentaries like recorded for this set that's not from any previous releases?
Everything's going to be pretty much the same. I mean, you're getting, as you saw in the spec sheet, the early spec, Pretty much everything from that DVD set that got ported over to the Blu-ray is now
Right.
ported over to this. The main new is going to be on the new Nightmare disc. The new Nightmare disc basically has our version of Never Sleep Again.
That was another thing, and I don't know. I get it. I think Scream Factory kind of made people wonder that things could be this easy when they put more brains on the Return of the Living Dead Blu-ray and 4K. But Never Sleep Again, did you guys technically don't own that? That was like 1428 Films or some independent thing. So would you guys would have had to have licensed that out yourself to put on there if you wanted to, or?
Yes, we would rather make something that we would own ourselves.
And okay,
That
so
we would have no issue going forward. Like, let's say there's another. I'm not saying there is, so everybody not saying there's going to be. But if down the road there was another release of this, we wouldn't have to worry about if we had to license again or to leave it out. We would own what we made. Just like how, I'll give you a perfect example because I thought about this earlier in the day. Remember the Scarlet Box that Arrow put out for Hellraiser?
oh yeah, I have it.
All right, so now they put out the 4K set, the Quartet of Torment. The Leviathan documentary did not carry over to Quartet of Torment because they did not own that and they licensed that. Now they're stuck not being able to have that on their new set. We at being horror fans ourselves, look at that and go, well, let's just make our own thing that we don't have to worry about that in the future.
Okay, cool. And so if you can kind of break this down for me, there's what it showed on that new Nightmare disc was basically two new features. Now, one of them was called like boiler room back talk or something, and then like it was two new features with kind of like funny names. Are they basically all the new interviews and stuff cut up and turn into a body of work like a documentary style? Is that essentially what we're dealing with?
It tells a story. It puts everything in a narrative, like you and I talked about previously off air. It puts everything together in a nice story that's easy to digest and that doesn't bore you at any point.
Awesome. And I guess I'll ask. This is just a question I'm having. Thinking about this now is, I'm assuming obviously a lot of the directors that were at the studio filmed for stuff like this, Shoulder, Rachel Talalay, Robert Englund, etc. I mean, what about some of the bigger people like the idea of like a Depp or something? Is that something that happened? Did he happen to get into the studio at all or no?
That's not even plausible to be done, to be honest with you. He's unattainable for stuff like this.
Yeah, I figured, but I did want to ask.
Not that, look, and I don't want to give people the impression he's embarrassed of it because he's not. Because think about it, he came back to get hit with a frying pan and Freddy's dead, right? He owes his career to the first movie. He said it numerous times. It's just like how Arnold Schwarzenegger, he doesn't really do special features for his movies that come out, right? I think he's done a very limited amount of commentary. It's just that same situation.
Yeah, it's funny you say Schwarzenegger because we just got the announcement of End of Days today, and
I'm so excited.
I didn't have to look at the special features to know that there wasn't a new Arnold Schwarzenegger commentary.
Exactly.
Here's another thing. A lot of people were actually asking me. They said, "Hey, Christian, there was this absolutely stellar making of Nightmare 4 that got released on VHS and Laserdisc when Part 4 came out. What do we know about that?"
Well, I actually bought the DVD version from the guy who sold it. Way back, by the way. This wasn't nothing for our set, but I mean, I did buy from. He also, I think, he did effects for Friday 6, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because he inside the DVD he sold me, he had like an autographed picture with him with a bunch of Part 6 hockey masks. So when it comes to that, we culled a lot of features from Screaming Mad George for Part 4. A lot of good stuff, right? A lot of good stuff. A lot of that stuff is on that same making of. We didn't take anything specifically from there, but some things will be duplicated.
Okay. So let's see. Let me see if I can keep this rolling. Looking at the questions.
We're doing good, right? We're doing good.
We're doing very good. It's kind of in the vein of this. a lot of people were also wondering about deleted scenes, and a lot of people were saying, Christian, ask him about deleted scenes from New Nightmare, because I guess I'm not aware of this. There was like a bunch of deleted scenes for New Nightmare, or if there's going to be any deleted scenes that are put into the onto the set at all in terms of special features or anything like that.
Well, as it pertains to that, a lot of things will be talked over but put in. Let's just put it that way. There was that in the sequence in New Nightmare where Nancy goes, they're having the funeral for her husband, and she gets sucked into the grave and all that, or our kid's getting sucked into Dylan. He's getting sucked into the grave, and there's supposed to be a whole sequence where she was supposed to talk to the man who played Rod. I blank on some people's names because I go through so much in a day. Supposed to talk to him, Lisa Wilcox, all that stuff. It all got cut out.
Right. Okay. Let's see.
I mean, Christian, I go through so many things in a day. You have no idea. I forget people's names.
No, I understand. Nerdy question. Do you know what size discs these are?
100 gigabyte disc.
Okay. All right.
I mean, to fit everything on there when there's no special features disc separately, it had to be 100 gigabytes. Each movie takes up about 75 gigs. The rest is just for features because they're in standard definition.
Oh, and you either mentioned this before we went on, or we were about to. So today, which is Monday the 4th, when I'm recording this, guys, we did see stuff come up on Zavi, and they specifically didn't show the inside of Part 2's 4K Steelbook. Did you say that was just because that image wasn't rendered yet for that stuff, or
for that one? It wasn't because it wasn't rendered. It's because it's considered graphic, so they couldn't show it.
Can I ask what it is? Is it Freddy?
It's when he peels his brain.
Okay, so nobody's seen this yet. So some of the detractors, like, we'll know when we get to see the inside of Part 2.
Yeah. Now that's the thing when it comes to that one. In the UK, it's when he peels his brain, and that's what's funny because you see the UK, because their steelbooks are gonna have different trays. Like they're gonna have 2 disc holders in some trays. We have the brain on that one, but in the US, we're going to have the one where he goes, "You're all my children now," and he extends his arms. So there's going to be 2 different artworks on the inside of Part 2.
Look at that. Okay, there we go. That's some info right there.
Right. We have to get okays. It still has to pass through certain regulations. And in the US, that would be considered too much for a big studio. I mean, I'm sure like Arrow or something, or Screen Factory or Vinegar Syndrome, which the stuff they do is crazy. They get away with it. We can't.
Okay. So very, very cool. So I'm just trying to make sure we covered a lot of stuff. We talked about if your set gets damaged. We talked about the possibility of them doing more, and that'll be a holiday thing. So people need to be ready to strike the hammer down on that. Oh, in terms of release date, like, is this thing supposed to really hit around? I think the first date was given was like September 23rd. Is that still supposed to be the actual street date?
Yes, September for us in the United States, and across the world, it's going to be October.
Okay.
Because you got to think about it too, Christian. I don't know if you know this, but the UK Nightmare, like that Nightmare set for Blu-ray, it came out in the UK in 2011. It didn't come out in the US till I think a couple years later.
Yeah, that might be true. Yeah, it's been so long now, I can't even remember.
So I mean, hey, this is not a couple years difference, right? Jeez.
Yeah, no shit. So I think I don't know how many stones there are left to unturn. So the commentaries will all be archival. The body, the stuff in terms of special features, the new stuff is going to be documentary style. We're going to see behind the scenes and possibly deleted scene stuff in that, but it's going to be it's going to be talked over and discussed, etc. Never Sleep Again style. So okay, and then I think Dude, I really think there's not much left to uncover now. We talked about what the inside of part 2 looks, so that's going to be. I can't wait for that to get revealed now because no one has seen
Yeah,
that.
it's amazing, man. Like, and you know, the thing is, it's a shame that we couldn't get it okayed over here, you know, but our image is still great. It's still the awesome, iconic image of him saying, "You're all my children now," with the fire in back of him. It's great, but I much prefer him peeling his brain out. You know, I think it looks amazing.
Why didn't y'all put Bob Shea in the leather outfit on the inside of the?
You know what? That would have been amazing because, dude, that is like the number one I would have put in there. But you didn't ask me about one important thing, and I mean, you kind of skipped over one thing that's super important.
Oh, please.
With New Nightmare, I can't believe you wouldn't ask me about them talking about the deleted dream sequence of Freddy fighting Rex.
Oh my God! Yeah, tell me about that, please.
I don't know if I could tell you. You didn't want to ask me about it. No, I'm just joking.
No.
So,
dude, okay.
It
just for a second, just to be fair, I like New Nightmare, but listen, man, I am a 2, 4, 5 guy. Like that's me. So like, I watched New Nightmare. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Let me shut up. Nobody gives a fuck what I have to say. Go ahead.
Hey, look, Jason Goes to Hell is one of my favorites in the Friday series. So I'm with you on it. Like in weird, you know, I like weird entries in the series of each movie, you know, of each franchise. So there was a whole entire sequence because they couldn't, like, it was been so expensive to shoot. It took up the whole budget of the movie. What Wes put in that script for Dylan's T-Rex protected him, because you know how whenever they pull it out, it's got the claw marks on it.
Right.
There's a whole Jurassic Park style dinosaur that they wanted to create for Freddy to fight. So picture in your mind, New Nightmare Freddy literally getting on top of a T-Rex and slashing at him and stuff. That would have been amazing if they would have filmed it.
That would have been amazing. And is that talked about in the?
It's talked about in detail. Actually, it's talked about in a lot of detail.
Come on, man. This is great shit. Thank you. You got to help me out, man. I can't. You know this stuff. You got to tell me, dude.
And the thing about it is, you know, when I watch a documentary like Never Sleep Again, I'm like, I can't believe they didn't cover it, because Rex is in the body count. Everybody's body count they do on the internet, Rex is in it. You know, because he does die technically, quote unquote, right?
Right. Yeah.
They really do have a sequence that was in the first draft of Freddy fighting Rex.
This is awesome. Yeah, this is good shit. So
when we got to read it, because we read it, we actually read it in our meeting room, and it was the greatest thing. We pictured it in our heads. We thought it would have been so cool.
If you can, have you seen these two features, these two documentaries already? Have you watched them?
Oh, I mean, I've seen them completely. I mean, we screened them. That was part of our screening process when we screened everything. Like we screened like our new transfers. We all enjoyed that, and then we got to screen our documentary at the lot, and even the heads at SDS, which is a partnership between Universal and Warner Brothers to, you know, distribute things amongst the consumer. They loved it too. So, they freaking were blown away by it.
So, if I can get a little bit of a sneak peek, who had the most like discussion on that part about this? Was it Heather? Was it the I don't know if Wes had a partner that helped him write that movie. Like, who was really the person that had the most intel on that scene and what happened?
Robert, because he actually had, you know, he was approached with the first draft of the script on a private basis with Wes, and he talks about the fact that he was one of I think the third or fourth person to ever get the concept of New Nightmare. And when he read that scene, he's like, am I going to really fight a dinosaur?
Dude, you know what's so crazy? I feel silly because, like, man, I have watched Never Sleep Again 1,000 times. I have watched the movies a ton in my life. Of course, there's certain ones I watch religiously more, like Part 2, but I had never really heard of that before. That's kind of blowing my mind.
Right. I mean, imagine Freddy calling a dinosaur bitch, and you'll pretty much.
All right, dude. So that's a great way. And listen, this is what I'll do. If WB guy is okay with this, if there is, because I know you have a few other things you said you wanted to discuss tonight that aren't Elm Street related. But
I do.
if I'll ask this to the, I'll tell this to the audience. If anybody has a big question that I have not gotten to answer yet, I know a big thing with special features. The number one thing is, are they going to do more box sets of the Steelbook? That's the number one. I assume the standard version will kind of stay in a rotation, meaning that.
The standard one's gonna be there forever. I mean, Nightmare prints money. That Blu-ray box set printed money. That DVD box set printed money. The Steelbook set, like I covered before, you have a chance around Black Friday-ish time to maybe possibly get another one, about 200, 250 run. Not gonna please everybody, but they don't want to get stuck with this set like they got stuck with the first movie set. So you got to understand that. And if that sells completely out, which it will, we know it will, they'll do 250 more.
There you go. That sounds great. And then the other thing was, like we talked about, special features, commentaries, all that. I think we've covered a lot. And the other thing people keep asking is, I'm going to wait till they release them separately. And I even feel like I delete my comments because I say, not even because of what I've talked to you about, but I just say to myself, if I'm in business to sell this movie, if I worked at WB and if I have a collection of the movies that stay in rotation, meaning the standard set, why on earth, as a business person, would I spend more money to sell them separately for just a niche version of a collector, meaning somebody that doesn't want a box set, they just want to buy them individually? I was like, I have to delete my comments because I don't want to sound like I know what I'm talking about, but I always want to say, no, they're not going to do that.
I mean, think about it like this. It's at this point, a series is going to, they mostly sell the best as the whole series. Because let's be real, 6 is not going to sell as well as 3. 2 is not going to sell as well as 1. You know what I mean? And you're going to be stuck with a surplus of a certain one, and you don't want that.
Yeah, that makes sense. And just the history of the series, for the most part, with the exception of the red DVDs, they were sold as a set.
Right. Think like this, like how Paramount, I mean, Jason's Freddy's quote unquote rival, right? I mean, that's the two bigs, right? So they always do 1, 2, and 3, 4 separately, right? They always sell well separately, but 5, 6, 7, and 8 do not sell well. That's why they're always sold in a set or bundled with something else, like 5 and 6 together. Because I remember back in maybe around the time of the first 10 set for Friday, they came out with 5, 6, and 7 and 8 together. I think I saw some at FYEs,
double packs,
but that didn't last long, right? Because they just didn't sell well. The latter half of your series is never going to sell as well. That's what it is.
Yeah, and a lot of people were actually bummed. I'm just as big as a Friday fan as Elm Street, and it's so funny. After they kind of put out that Part 4 Steelbook, a lot of people were like, "Where the hell is the Part 5 Steelbook with the VHS art?" And I'm just like, "Damn, I don't think it's gonna happen, man. I think they're gonna call it right there."
I mean, they always do think about when they were releasing separate Blu-rays. It stopped at final chapter, and then that 10 set came out.
Yeah, and then, like you said, then they put 5, 6, and 7, 8 separately. So I don't want to keep you too much longer, but I think we cover everything. But the last thing I want to say is if for some reason, and this is for the audience, if we do have any other serious question, a lot of people have asked about Freddy versus Jason. I've interviewed Cliff McMillan on camera, and he says they've turned me down. And I'm gonna go after it again. You have told me they don't see value in Freddy versus Jason. So, and they could possibly do it with Arrow, because clearly you guys have a relationship with Arrow Video. We're seeing that right now. They took Spawn from y'all. They took Spawn.
I know, right?
Demolition
They took
Man
Spawn from me. I can't believe it.
So clearly, if Freddy versus Jason comes out boutique, it's clearly going to go to Arrow. But you said something that made a lot of sense to me and the audience the other night, and fill in the blanks if you need to. But basically what you said was, we're not going to have another Elm Street release, which most people look at Freddy versus Jason as an Elm Street film. We're not going to have another Elm Street release come out or be announced at the time while we are doing our set. We don't want we want all eyes on us. So maybe that could happen, and we'll license it out to Arrow or whatever, but it'll be at best maybe Q2 or 3 of 2026.
If I hazard to guess, the remake of Nightmare and Freddy versus Jason will probably be in Arrow's hands next year if it's not already being talked about. I'm not privy to that kind of conversation, but I'm pretty sure they want to finish their split face designs.
I would think so too. And this is like like I've said. I mean, Cliff McMillan on video on my interview says, of course I'll put them out, but I was denied them at a certain time, but I'm gonna go back and try. Because when I told him, I said, you know that the remake or Freddy vs. Jason's not in this Elm Street set, and he was like, interesting. So, and what you said makes total sense. They're not gonna want to license it out and take attention off of what they're doing at the time. So they'll be out. We all know that they're gonna somebody's putting the remake out. Whether anybody likes it or not, they'll put it out, and a lot of us will buy it still. And Freddy versus Jason.
A couple of things I want to say too, just to put some mind at ease for the audience, because I know Texas Chainsaw Massacre and Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 are out on 4K from various companies right now. Tremendous transfers all around, whether it's Second Sight, Dark Sky, Vinegar Syndrome, and Arrow, right? I just want to put everybody in mind at ease that we can't touch TCM3, so that means someone's got it. We don't know who, but somebody's going to have it.
Very, very interesting.
And with the Tales from the Crypt thing, I saw a lot of conjecture on different forums after you and I spoke and mentioned Tales from the Crypt. It is a guarantee that within the next 2 years, no matter what anybody says, don't let anybody deter your excitement. We're going to have that out on a Blu-ray set, period, in the story. It's going to happen. And Gremlins 2, be excited.
Is that all you can say about Gremlins 2? I mean, I pick up what you're putting down.
Be very excited because, so in the Gremlins 1 artwork, we know it's atrocious. So trust me when I say when it gets reissued, because it will to go alongside Gremlins 2, you're not going to have to worry about the cover anymore. And Gremlins 2 is going to be phenomenal.
It's so exciting. I hate to be that guy, but I like Gremlins 2 as much, maybe a touch more than 1, because I just felt like Joe Dante was like, we're not topping it, so let's literally just throw everything at the wall, including Hulk Hogan, and I think it was Peter Cushing in there, and they were like, let's just do it. Let's just do the damn thing and throw everything at the wall.
It's a big Looney Tunes cartoon. That's what it is, and it's fun as hell.
Yeah, that is exciting. You assuming like it sounds like you're a physical media department person clearly, but there's so much speculation about Gremlins 3 being literally like the script is on the table of Spielberg. Are you able to say anything about that? I don't want to get you in trouble, but if you can,
I mean, hey, if I don't get in trouble at this point, when will I get in trouble, right? I'm making a joke on that. When it comes to Gremlins 3, it's something that there's certain things that need to be agreed upon, like animatronics versus CGI.
Okay. Well, I'm cautiously optimistic about a Gremlins 3, and if Mr. Dante is involved, which I pray to God he is, I know he's getting up there. I'm hoping he's fighting for animatronics.
He's already stated, and what we do know, because it is a hot topic, if it's not animatronic, he wants no part of it. That's just what it is.
God bless you.
And I respect him for that. So but anything else you got for me, man?
No, I don't think so. Like, I really just wanted to nail home the special features. The biggest thing was a lot of people are like, what do? I want the Steelbook set, but it's sold out on Amazon. Do I get it now? Or do I get the Zavi set and pay the extra money for the Blu-rays, or do I wait? And I just think now that people know that, once the holiday season kicks in, there's going to be limited quantity coming back. I think that's going to put a lot of people at ease. Commentaries was another thing. They wanted to know if there were new commentaries. We covered that. There's going to be more music videos than what's listed. There's basically Never Sleep Again style documentaries covering all the films, the behind the scenes, the script stuff, Rex being a dinosaur fighting Freddy, all that.
That's awesome, bro.
No, I really think, you tell me, dude. Like, I feel like I really want to end. This is what I was going to say. If the comment section has any serious questions that get a lot of upvotes and it's stuff that we haven't answered, I will screenshot a comment to you. I will send it to you. And if you respond back to it, I will copy and paste that as the response down below. That way, I'm not leaving any stone unturned because, I mean, I really
Christian,
want to try to do my audience right and answer their questions as best I can.
you forgot an important thing. I mean, you forgot the footage for Freddy's Dead. Go ahead and ask me about the footage for Freddy's Dead.
Okay. So this was something I talked to you about privately. Here's one thing. There's so much conjecture back and forth on this. The work print of Freddy's Dead, there's a lot of extra talking between Yvette Kato and Lisa Zane, I believe. There's a moment where Lisa Zane looks at the camera before she puts the Freddy's Dead glasses on and says, "Now." I found the footage on YouTube. So I actually screen recorded it, did a YouTube short about it. And here's the thing. If you can answer this just for me, to hell with the audience, just answer this for me, and then I'll ask about all that footage, and then we can discuss what's what with that. I've heard that part of the movie screened in theaters where she looks at the camera and says "now." And if you look at the short I did, there are comments that said, "You're an idiot. You don't know what you're talking about." There are other comments just as much that said, "I vividly remember that scene." And then I never saw it again on DVD, VHS, but I remember it like it was yesterday. I remember her looking at the camera and saying "now," and we all laughed in the theater. Do you have an answer for that specifically, if that actually screened in the theaters? And then people want to know if they're going to be able to see that on the Blu-ray, on the 4Ks in any fashion.
Well, to your credit, I wish you would have spoken to me long when the set was being made, because you brought this to my attention. And after diligently looking through the archives, because even though we have archives, I mean, a lot of film material is kept in very temperature sensitive situations because it will degrade faster if you don't take care of it, right? So a lot of this stuff is stored in mines. I mean, these deep mines where everything can be just controlled to a T. And we did end up recovering that footage, and it was part of the week 1 theatrical release that you and I talked about previously, where the 3D did not work at all, and they had to send out a different version of it.
And that part was just taken out, you think, of the next version, just for reasons, maybe, you know?
I mean, it looked ridiculous. It did sound ridiculous. I mean, it did sound ridiculous. I mean, even Rachel herself said it sounded ridiculous. So I mean, it's something that it's cool to have. It's cool to look at, but it's not something you really want in a movie. Sometimes deleted scenes are good deleted scenes for a reason, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. But I'll tell you this, man, like when it comes to horror and movies I love, the history of it and archiving stuff, I literally, that's my passion. So that's one thing I was like, can we have that just to keep it alive? Because if we don't, it'll disappear one day and then it'll be folklore.
Yeah.
And you said to that, what?
Well, I said that it's because it was not recovered, before, and brought to my attention before, it won't be on the physical set. But everyone who likes to sell their digital copies on eBay or forums or anything like that, don't do it, because it will be included on the digital extras on your Movies Anywhere or wherever you redeem your digital copies at. So don't get ahead of yourself, sell that to you recoup some money, because you'll be selling, a special feature pretty much.
I remember when I asked you about this the other day, you said, "Let me see what I can do." Are you confirming that is going to make it to the digital?
Right. We have till August 15th to finalize our extra spec for the digital versions. So it will be on there. It's not going to be hard to scan that out.
Amazing. And so hey, just give me a second. Let me pat myself on the back. Are you saying
Pat yourself.
Are you saying that I'm the reason that's going to be on the digital?
You are.
That is so cool.
Because honestly, Rachel forgot about that. I even had someone call her up about it, and she's like, "I totally forgot about that."
Wow.
I mean, it is it's such a, I think it's how many seconds? 7 seconds long, maybe.
It's just,
it's important.
It's so ridiculous, but that it's like, when I heard about it, I didn't even believe it. And I told you, I have not a mutual, but I have a friend that has an actual work print of it, like a file of
Mhm.
it, start to finish. He showed me it, and it looks like absolute shit. I mean, we're talking, it's got the
Yeah.
little numbers and stuff on it, like when you're watching something like that's like almost like that daily type. It's got all the little numbers and all the shit on the corners
The
and
time
stuff.
codes and all. Yeah.
Yeah, it's got all that on it, and some of it, not all of it, but I remember when that part happened, I was like, "You gotta be fucking kidding me. That is the most ridiculous shit I've ever," but I love it, the fact that she's just like,
Yeah.
"Now," to the audience.
Now. Like,
Oh,
okay, ma'am. Geez, I'm gonna put the glasses on. Damn.
dude. Alright, so this is amazing, and like I said, if there's anything for the audience out there that I haven't covered in this video, upvote it if you see it. Don't ask it again. If you see a comment down below, guys, that I have not answered, that should have been an obvious one, you have to excuse me. It's not every day I have an opportunity like this, but please upvote those comments. I will take those comments. I will send it to WB Man, and if he can, when he gets the chance to either message me a response, I can copy and paste it, and that will be the response to those comments down below. That way we can leave no. But I genuinely don't know what else the hell I can ask. I mean, what
I
we
mean,
talked about everything.
it's pretty much all out there. I mean, I really do wish that. I mean, because the only spec sheet that came out was from overseas. They did jump the gun on putting out an early spec sheet because notice that, the typical outlets didn't put out the specs. It was
You're
just
right.
that one site.
Yeah, yeah. HMV or something.
And I really wish it wouldn't have happened because it seems like since all the fake cover stuff and everything has come out, this has been like a roller coaster up and down of, I mean, if I could put myself in the shoes of people who are not in the know that are just general consumers being aggravated about the misinformation and just half the information, things like that. That's why I'm trying to clear the air on it because we worked hard on this. We want people to be excited, not frustrated.
Right, right. And it's been a roller coaster for sure. And like I said, man, it's like we as consumers have been not I'm not necessarily saying by WB specifically, but so many times, man, we have just like gotten our hopes up so much to just be like, "Oh, this is it." And so
Oh
honestly,
yeah.
honestly, dude, like I actually saw a comment today. Somebody said if this turns out to be as good, and they were referencing either the live stream where you hopped on the call or just a day
Hmm.
later when I was covering it, there was a comment that was like, if this turns out to be as good as it's sounding based off of the phone call Christian had and just everything we're saying, this could change studio releases as we know it,
Well,
so
that's a great compliment because the DVD set was the first of its kind. I think the only other thing that matched that on DVD, I think two things did. The Alien quadrilogy, which was that 9-disc fold-out set for the Alien series, and the Dawn of the Dead Ultimate Edition from Anchor Bay. I think when it comes to DVD, those three are like the most iconic box sets, at least in my opinion. And for someone to basically put it on that level is a real big honor. And it did change studio releases for a long time. I think it also opened the door for boutique labels like Anchor Bay at the time to do what they did to see that there was a market for that kind of thing,
right.
you know. And I just hope that our set is a way for at least Warner Brothers. I can't speak for any other studio. I hope our set for this, whether you get the standard or whether you get the Steelbook edition, it doesn't matter. I hope the actual contents of the disc themselves show you that you can start putting your faith back in us and that we will win back your trust over time. It can't be done overnight, but we want this set to be as iconic and definitive as the DVD set was back in 99.
Amazing. I think that's a great way to end this. Like I said, audience, if there's anything vital that we have not answered, oh, the other thing, somebody did ask if the UK set was going to have the digital code as well.
It will.
Okay, so there you have that. I do
So
remember
if you
that.
buy, let's say you buy it and you don't have four, and that's another thing I'm gonna tell people as well. Even if, because I'm assuming most people, 99.9% of people out there have a 4K TV now, right? I'm assuming. Even if you don't have a 4K disc player, which I mean, you can get a PS5, an Xbox Series console, and players as cheap as $100 at Walmart sometimes. But if you don't have one, buy the set regardless, not only to have it, but to have that digital copy that you could redeem on anything, and you'll at least be able to watch the 4K transfers, not in as good as quality as the disc, mind you, but at least get a taste of what it's like. You know, at least be able to
Great
experience
point.
it some kind of way.
Yeah, that's a great point. And you also get some special features on that, which is interesting. I haven't redeemed a whole lot of digital stuff before, so I didn't know if you got anything special feature wise on digital copies.
This will be the first time, because you said this thing back way, way back. I think it was around '09 called BD Live, where there were literally internet special features. You had to have your player hooked up to the internet to watch these special features. So it'll kind of be like a quote unquote throwback to BD Live, I guess.
Nice, interesting. Well, that's gonna be it. I think this was absolutely amazing. I think we are down to no stones left unturned on this. The only thing we have to do now is wait for just wait, I guess. But dude, listen, thank you so much. Um, this has been so cool, and I really appreciate you choosing me to do this through. It means a lot, and I just hope I can make my audience happy with this and kind of put them at ease, because believe me, I think we all been so just as first world problem as this is, we've all just been so stressed out. So this is like,
Oh,
you know,
it's iconic. I mean, it's an iconic series that means so much to so many people for so many different reasons. I mean, hell, I can't tell you how many people. I mean, because obviously there's a lot of LGBTQ plus people that work in California, right? And I can't tell you how many people who have said how much Part Two especially means to them, because it helped them be okay with who they are.
sure, absolutely. Yeah,
You know, and
these movies mean
it
something
means
to a lot
so
of
much.
people. Yeah.
Right, and it's such an honor for me as a huge fan of horror, period, to work on something of this magnitude. I mean, when I was chosen to be part of the team, it was under a code name at first, and when they revealed it to us in the meeting room, I was like, "Oh my God, are you serious?"
Amazing, man. This is so cool. Well, let's end it. I'm going to say goodbye to my audience, and then me and you can say bye privately when I end the recording. But to my audience, I want to
All
say
right.
thank you guys so much. God bless y'all. Like I said, if there's anything pertinent that we haven't covered, I think we have. But if not, if you see the comment, give it a thumbs up. If you don't see it, type it. And if it's something that we haven't covered, some of you may just need to listen a little bit longer than start commenting after 2 minutes of the video. Some of y'all are brutal about that. But anyway, listen to it. If we haven't covered it, drop your comment. At his convenience, I will ask him, and if I get the response whenever I can, I will comment that to your question. So to my audience, God bless you guys. Thank y'all for watching, and I'll talk to y'all very, very soon. Huge giant thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. Without you guys, this would not be possible. To get behind the scenes photos, videos, music, private live streams, and much more, you can subscribe to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. Thank you to my patrons.